Shalom, Yasharallah. This is your brother Dawud from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with the same truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Waha Rakal Kadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push in this truth with sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. I want to get into this here quick lesson dealing with the famine of the word, okay? And things you should be preparing for this time, you know. We're approaching that time as you're starting to see a trend that's coming out with a lot of the brothers' channels, you know. We get more and more strikes on our channels and channels being taken down and all kind of just crazy stuff, you know. Talking about hate speech and all these types of things, you know. When in reality, you know, the only things that we're speaking about, you know, the main thing that they pull out when we talk about hate speech is the things when we spotlighting Esau, the so-called white man, and the things he did, you know. When we bring up things like him putting us in the slavery and the atrocities that they did, you know, to us, like picnics, they picking a nigga and barbecuing his ass, you know. Talking about things like that, you know, they label that as hate speech, but, you know, we didn't come up with that, you know. We didn't come up with lynching, you know. We didn't come up with none of those type of things. We just bringing out the things that you did, you know, the things that Esau did, but they don't like that. So, you know, they're trying to cover up this word, you know, at least that they be exposed, you know. But nevertheless, we're going to, you know, jump into this here lesson and just hit on some, you know, some of the basic things, you know, because we're approaching that time where, you know, you're not going to be able to see the prophets as available as you see them now, you know. You don't want to take that for granted. You don't want to take this here time for granted, you know. You're on the other side of the videos watching, and you just take it for granted, you know. The men of the Lord are going to always be out there. These videos are going to always come up. I don't have to read. I don't have to study, blah, 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 blah. You know, I can just listen to them. Well, the scriptures say that, you know, we'll get to it, but, you know, it's going to be a famine of the word, you know. We're not going to be putting those videos up like that, you know, all the way throughout the end, you know. And, you know, we're not going to be in the highways and the byways like that no more, you know. Things are going to start changing up, you know. And as you see, looking at a lot of the camps, a lot of the locations are starting to change, you know, especially like with our camp, you know. We done changed up locations and things like that, you know. And so for those people who would, you know, take for granted, like, you know what, I'll stop by next weekend. You know, you might be walking by with your friend and you might be a little embarrassed, but you see us out there and you're like, in the back of your mind, like, I'll stop by next week, you know. And, you know, that could have been your last time. Now you're not going to see us no more over in that spot, you know. And, you know, the Most High might not ever have it that you might cross that path again, you know. So you want to, you know, like the scriptures say, make it call an election sure, you know. You want to make sure you're doing all the things you can do and be prepared, you know. You want to make sure you know, like if you're about to go on a long road trip, you want to make sure you got enough gas in your car. You got a fresh oil change, your tires aren't bald. You know, you want to make sure your car is good in service before you get on the road on a long trip and then run out of gas, you know. Nevertheless, we're going to jump into these here scriptures. Start out in the book of Revelation. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 3. It says, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Okay, so the scriptures say, blessed is he that readeth, okay, and hear the words of these prophecies. Not only that you hearing these words of these prophecies, you know, you just, you know, watching us on the videos or walking by at the camp, you know, but also it says, blessed is he that readeth, okay. You need to also be picking this up for yourself and read for your own self, you know, and do your own due diligence, because there might be things that, you know, we might not be, like a certain topic or so that, you know, we might not be, you know, covering or something that might, how do I say, you know, you might be curious about a certain something, you know, and, you know, that might not be a big enough topic, more or less, to say for us to do a huge video on or something like that, but, you know, you read and, you know, you'll get your understanding that way, you know. But for the most part, the big things that are taking place, you know, we go into all those things, you know, week in, week out, you know. But nevertheless, it's also good that you read for your own self and get understanding, you know. Because just like with this truth, you know, there's a lot of things, especially like you see when we were bringing it out to other people, you know. You bring out Luke 19 and 27, you know, he that would not that I should reign over him, bring him hither and slay before me, you know. That's written in a red letter, you know. So that's Yahweh Shah speaking, you know. So you got some kind of perception that the Most High and His Son is all loving and He coming back with flowers, you know. I've not come to set peace on the earth, but I come to bring with a sword, you know, roughly paraphrasing, you know. You could be caught off guard with the wrong perception if you never read that yourself, you know, especially if you go into these churches, you know. You're in these churches, and they're going to only read certain things out to you. They're not going to read out to you, you know, The Most High loved Jacob and hated Esau. You know, when you go to church and you letting them read for you, you never hear that side of the Most High. You know, you hear just, you know, they jumping around telling you whatever they want you to hear, or whatever you want to hear that'll make them want to put money into your collection basket. You know, but nevertheless, you know, it's just important that you get your own reading and your own understanding. You know, which is going to lead us into this next scripture in the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 6. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time." Okay, and I roughly paraphrase this a lot, you know, but it also said, "Blessed is he that readeth." Why? Why is it important that you read, and why is he going to be blessed that read? Okay, it says because wisdom. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time." Okay, and strength of salvation, the fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Okay, so it says wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of that time. It's going to keep you stable in that time. Okay, so So basically, you know, for an example, right? Let's say you weren't reading. Let's say you just went to a Christian church, you know, and you're not the one that's actually reading these scripts. You know, you just letting them read it. You know, you hear about the Exodus and all that stuff, and the cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night, and so on and so forth. But you know, these Christians are breaking it down to you. You know, now all of a sudden Yahushua returns. You know, it says, roughly paraphrasing, all nations are gonna see him and mourn. You know, they're gonna see him coming with his glory in the clouds. You know. Like, what does that mean, you know? We thought that, you know, we're going to be rejoicing when we see so-called Jesus come back, you know? But they don't understand because they're not reading and they're not getting understanding, okay, that those clouds and Yahushua is making his return in what they call the chariots of the Most High, with these Christians will call UFOs, okay? So for your regular-minded person, they're going to be afraid of a so-called UFO when not knowing, you know, they could be professing to be a Christian, like, if you're just a so-called Christian, you waiting on your so-called leader to return to save you. This is the method. Lock it. Hit the button. Like this is the method by which you're gonna receive your salvation. And if you're running from that, then you're going contrary to, you know, the Most High's plan. So that's not going to be beneficial to you. You know. Also, if you didn't know that, you know, that you're an Israelite and the Israelite's going to be saved, you know, you might just be walking around thinking you a Gentile the whole time. You know. But again, it says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Okay, so again, you know, we're not afraid now when we see these chariots and these glorious and wondrous sights, you know. But like the scriptures say, the nation's gonna see it in their morning, you know. You had one Jake out there talking about, he said the aliens are coming, they're invading. Call the police, call the police. And what the fuck the police gonna do? Woe to him that put his trust into Egypt. Okay? See, this is how these things go. Like, you put your trust into Egypt, or so-called America, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be fucked up, you know? And at least you want to be on their side, and then they go and try to attack those chariots. It ain't going to end well for y'all, especially if that's your so-called way out. You don't want to be shooting at your only route to get up out of there, you know? That's not a good move. Next scripture is in the book of Psalms. This is Psalms 119 and 104, or 103. How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Okay, these words that we read, you know, I mean, they using the parable about it being sweet in your mouth like honey, but it's really something I can't even break down. It's that nourishing. It's that, you know how you say, like you out on the track or you running a long endurance marathon or some shit like that. You know, you get to the finish line. You all hot, sweaty, dehydrated, and you get that cold water, and, you know, you start drinking that cold water, you be like, damn, that shit hit the spot, right on time, right where I need it, you know? That's how these words are, the words of these scripts, you know? You going through all your hell and your oppression, and all these things going on, and the so-called white man getting on you, but now you find out that, oh, wait a minute, he's not the white man, he's the so-called white man, but he's really Esau, and I'm really Jacob, and Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that. The beginning of that which followeth, okay? The Most High is going to repay all of Jacob's adversaries, okay? And then all of Idumea is going to be taken away, okay? But see, if you don't understand those things, you don't understand who these people are, you can't put these things together, you know? And one of the major keys to the scripts is understanding the breakdowns of who these nations are. Once you can translate who these nations are, everything makes sense, okay? When you can translate the Esau's the so-called white man, you know, and the king of Babylon and you know, things like that. Everything else rolls out. It's like, okay, Esau gonna be ruling the world at the end of the day. Okay, we see the so-called white man ruling the world at the end of the day, and he's like that great red horse with that sword to devour. Okay, and also that pale horse who is how do you say trying to kill with the sword, famine and pestilence. Okay, when you understand those things, you know, you're not trying to figure out who and what things are, and you're not, you know, stumbling at these things. You know exactly who your enemy is. You know exactly how to stay away from them. You know exactly how to put on the whole armor of salvation, basically. You know. That, I mean, this whole lesson is really to break down to that. It just dawned on me, you know. It's just, we wrestle not. We can. We don't have the time for it, but we can try and get it. But we'll try to get there. Jump over to the book of Proverbs real quick. Oh, hold on. Gotta go back to Psalms. Psalms 119 and 103 again. How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Okay, the scriptures say precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Just like right now, I'm pulling out a lesson, and this lesson isn't coming concurrent, you know. I'm not reading Psalms 119, verse 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. Then there's the lesson, okay. We jump from a book to another book to another book to another book. And these here precepts, you know, I just read 103 and 104 out of, you know, I mean, this goes down to 176 verses, okay? We pull 2 verses out of, you know, one of the Psalms, you know, and we linking this up with the rest of these scriptures, okay? So by thy precepts, let me get it again. It says, by thy precepts I get understanding. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. Okay? So, again, like the scriptures say, blessed is he that readeth. Okay? And then with all that get understanding. Because why? And also, how do you get understanding? Through the precepts. Okay? Which I keep roughly paraphrasing this. We're going to go ahead and grab this now. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 7. It says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom. Okay? And with all thy getting, get understanding. Okay? So, I mean, you see some people in some of these camps, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of these other camps, non-GMS camps, you know, they be firing left and right on the precepts, precept. But really, all these precepts and all the books that they learning and understand, well, they learning more or less, they don't have no real understanding of none of these things, you know. Like I had, one day I had a so-called Christian come up to me asking me about something like, do you know who this person and that person is? Like, yeah, these are very minor characters in the scriptures. Do you know who Jacob and Esau is? No, they ain't important. Okay, so I can understand that with your getting all that stuff that you so-called know, and whatever type of level that you think that you on, you're not really on the level because you don't know who the 2 main characters of the scriptures are. Okay? You don't know who Jacob and Esau is, but you're trying to ask me about 2, like, minor characters, you know, 2 extras, you know? These extras they're not how do you say, they're not in any of the prophecies, nothing is centered around them, you know. You just read about them in like one book and like 2 or 3 verses, you know. That's about it, you know. If you want to ask me about them and then try to make it seem as if, you know, I'm not on no type of level in which that don't even matter to me whether you think I'm on a level or not. That's unimportant, you know. But, you know, in a sense, you try to, you know, talk condescending to somebody. You don't know who these people are. And so, you know, it's a clear sign. With all that get understanding. You know, wisdom is a principal thing. You know, so it's not wise to sit here and know all these books and know this and that. You know, like when I first read the Bible all the way through. You know, I read the Bible with a so-called Christian understanding. You know, I got the foundation of what was going on in the scriptures, like the backdrop of the story, but I didn't understand the things that I understand now. You know, so you know. At that point in time, I could brag and boast about, oh, I done read the whole Bible from cover to cover. But in that whole time, I didn't get none of the understanding of the truth. I didn't understand who Jacob and Esau were. I knew who Jacob was, but I didn't understand, you know, the importance of, you know, the whole thing revolving around Jacob and Esau. You know, I didn't understand these things. And first and foremost, I wasn't 100% clear that the people that they was talking about in there was me the whole time anyway, you know. A couple of things was like, man, that sound like what I would call nowadays a Jake move. Like, damn, that sound like, you know, back then, I'm like, man, that sound like black people, or that sound like Mexicans. You know, the shit that they doing sound like, you know, these people, you know. But like the scriptures say, the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, you know. But nevertheless, we'll go ahead and grab one more scripture before I get cut off here. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 11. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the word of Yahweh." Okay? "And they shall wander from sea to sea, from north to east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, shall not find it." Okay? So, basically, like I said, you know, we're not going to always be on the highways and the byways. We're not going to always be in those same spots, you know. Our channels get deleted. So, you just sitting there watching our channels, and not getting no real understanding, not trying to actually do anything. You just watching it for entertainment purposes or whatever, whatnot. Not really making your move to make your call and election sure, you know. What happens if our channel get deleted, you know? Then we have to go make a whole new channel, and it might not be named the same thing. Now you can't even find us, you know. Now you done lost your source of life, you know. So this is why it's important that you get your own, you know, it's like the scripture say, blessed he that readeth, blessed is he that readeth, you know, and get wisdom, for wisdom is the principal thing, you know. And through thy precepts I get understanding, okay. And with all that getting, you get understanding, because wisdom is the principal thing, okay. And why? Because there's going to be a time like that we coming to real shortly. There's going to be a famine of the word. We already starting to see it. You know, more and more brothers' channels getting strikes. More and more brothers' channels getting shut down. You know, more and more calamities are happening on the highways and the byways, you know, to where, you know, we start to change up locations and things like that, you know. So it's not going to be a time, you know, where we're going to always be out there in them corners, you know. And especially when Jacob Trouble is actually full-blown here, we're not going to be out there doing all of this, you know. And then those are going to be the times you're going to be looking for the prophets. You're going to be looking for answers then. Why is the so-called white man trying to put us in FEMA camps? Why are they trying to put these RFID chips in us to get jobs and go to the grocery store? Why are they doing all this? What's up with these UFOs? We scared. There ain't no God if there's aliens. You be like, well, you just shit out of luck, man. You over here, what kind of blasphemy is that there ain't no God because there's aliens and these UFOs? Like if you only knew, you know, if you was an Israelite, you know, that would have been your salvation rod up out of here, but you didn't get your wisdom and knowledge and understanding, you know. It's not going to keep you stable in that time. You're going to be, you know, losing your marbles in that day. All right. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out because, like I said, I'm having technical difficulties. My videos get cut off. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say, Call Halal Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught me the truth and that ruled well. And much love and salutation to you, Ark, and pushing the truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. Stay strong. Shalom.